Welcome to Doug in Exile. I talk a lot about culture, about that river we're all floating down. Makes you do, say, and think things. Seriously. And so what I'm trying to do is bring us both wisdom. Look, this is what's going on. Then you go, oh, that's what's going on. I'm not some prophet. I don't have magic powers. I'm a mass media artist with experience making comic books, video games, and TV shows. And I have gone out and entertained millions of people with my stuff. So I have a pretty good idea what to do to entertain, move, and convince millions of people. That's what we're going to talk about. You watch the rest of this episode, you'll be smarter than all your friends. That's my goal. And thank you guys for watching. You're a very kind audience. You're very tolerant and patient with me. Sometimes my shows, they're just not that good. You know, I cry. Sometimes I goof up my arguments. I say the wrong word. But YouTube's about us being human beings. And welcome to a show by a very real human being. I'm 6'8". Tim Burchett. This is Rep. Tim Burchett from my state right here in Tennessee. He's trying to speak the truth to CNN, and CNN, I'm sorry, this blonde lady, you do not do your job.
But you know, ma'am, the reality is that's not going to happen. Let's just be honest. It doesn't get you elected. It doesn't back home. It's the red meat that gets you elected, pointing the finger, and the Democrats currently point, and the national media, frankly, points at Trump. I was there reading the news releases, and it was just some vile vitriol stuff, even directed towards Charlie Kirk. And you know, it's never going to change, ma'am, until we have a real revival in this country, and that hopefully would happen someday. But right now, it looks like it's going to be more of the same. It's clickbait. It's getting reelected. It's red meat, and that's what politics is about today. And that's frankly what it's always been about. We can have these talks, and we can have these professors come on and of political science and sociologists and all this and talk about that. That's not what's going to happen, ma'am. America is so tone deaf to all that. They want the heat, and that's what politicians bring.
He's a genius. He just told this lady what everyone's doing, and she's not having any of it. He's going, look, both sides are here for clickbait. They want what bleeds, and it's like he just now told her Santa Claus doesn't exist. Look at her. Santa Claus doesn't exist. Now she has to keep this illusion going, or she doesn't have a job. If CNN, if we ever realize, hey, this is all clickbait, both sides, they're just trying to animate you and get you to move a certain way. And if it bleeds, it leads, and I'll get my donors and I'll get views on my channel if I just clickbait you enough, you know? She's going like, wait a minute, watch this.
Well, what the governor is getting at is that everyone needs to look inward in the wake of this violence.
Okay, is she going to demonstrate that by looking inward, guys? Do you think this woman's this CNN news person, is she going to look inward?
Point, there should be a turning point to look inward and do better. And President Trump is not doing that as of Sunday.
So you're not looking inward. It's outward. It's President Trump did this. Okay, so we're not going to look inward, right? President Trump said this.
So despite what Governor Cox was calling for just hours before, let me play what he said.
Utah's conservative governor, not conservative, but Republican Governor Cox. He said, hey, let's tone down the rhetoric. So she's trying to put a divide in the Republican Party. Going, Governor Cox of Utah, by the way, who uses his pronouns and is a wussy, said for us to tone down the rhetoric, and then listen to Trump disobeying Governor Cox.
The problem is on the left. It's not on the right, like some people like to say on the right. The problem we have is on the left. And when you look at the agitators, you look at the scum that speaks so badly of our country, the American flag burnings all over the place, that's the left. That's not the right.
That is not accurate. I mean, there's a long list of recent political violence against Democrats. The point being is that there is more and more political violence across the political spectrum, targeting both the right and the left.
This woman is a lying bee. I hate to say it. This really bugs me. Okay, she plays the clip. Trump goes, the left are lying scum. They're burning flags. That was his example. And then she says, that is false. She said, there's been recent violence against the left by the right. Now that is the CNN agenda and the Democrat Party, what they currently right now have to zombify everyone with. She goes, the truth is, so then she corrects it. The truth is, violence is on both sides. That's where their comfort is. Her comfort is not that we're going to go and call out the violence on the left. See, that might actually end some violence. They do not want to do that, which makes Tim Burchett's exact point. She could have, if she was ready to look inside, that means she would look inside the Democrat, her own party, look inside and go, yes, it is us in this case. It is us. But she didn't. She goes, both sides, both sides, both sides. Has to be both sides.
But what do you do with this if the president does not want to take the lead in trying to help?
Ma'am, it's all over. It's not just the president. The guy was shot at. He was shot at once, and he was almost assassinated twice. Look back at my friend Steve Scalise when he was shot. The guy had he had a Republican hunting list, and it took us 5 years, ma'am, 5 years to get that changed by the FBI.
No, Congressman, I'm aware of that list. I actually I have a list of them altogether of the horrific acts of political violence. But again, it goes across the political spectrum.
If it has to be, this is both sidesism. It's like you do it too. You guys do it too. Does that bring you comfort, CNN? Does that bring you comfort that both sides do it? Did that help? Are we better now? You know what? If my side, if a right-wing, born-again Christian, Republican MAGA went and took a shot at Biden, but I'll try and find a Charlie Kirk, analogous person, Rachel Maddow. My first instinct, I at least hope, would not be, well, you guys did it to us too, so we're justified. That's what they're doing.
Looking forward, moving forward, if this could be a turning point, I've seen from many saying that it should be expected to start from the leaders. It should be expected to start from a president of the United States to move.
She's trying to push it off on the president, going like, look, we plebes, we pedestrians, we filthy peasants down here aren't going to do anything. We put all the expectation on the president, meaning I don't have to do anything until Trump calls out a trans leftist shooter.
Forward and bring that temperature down. If he is not going to, what do you do with it? What do you do about it?
Well, what do you all do with it? You keep putting it out. If you all truly wanted this to change in the media at CNN and other places, your editorial board would say, we're not gonna put this stuff out, but yet you continue to put it out, and that continues to stir the base. Man, we had a hearing last week on UFOs.
I'm creating a conversation, and I have been, and I take pride in the fact that we do bring the temperature down on this.
Pride comes before the fall. She goes, I take pride. We take the temperature down. No, you don't. No, you don't.
On this program, and I'm definitely redoubling efforts to do that now by playing the words of the president in order to bring about conversation with an elected member of Congress.
Conversation's their code word too. I just want to have a conversation. No, you want to gin up debate.
That's not trying to stir, that's trying to have conversation.
Well, you stirred me.
And that's trying to ask you what you thought about it, rather than have you come back and attack me about it.
Oh, you attacked her. Tim Burchett, did you hear that? Tim attacked her.
Well, ma'am, I'm not attacking you. I'm just letting you know that you all need to look within at CNN if you want to continue down this path, because clearly your ratings show that. And the conservative movement is showing that they're not watching you because of that.
Now he knifed her. Look at your ratings, and she's like furious. Good job, Tim Burchett. I was hoping he might trigger her into a rant where she just started screaming, because they're duplicitous, they don't care, and they don't mean it. I wish you meant it. I wish both our sides would tone it down. If you were smart, you would, because you're going to lose this battle, CNN. You're going to drain even more. The Democrat Party is an unelectable party, thank God.
If you all truly had some objective reporting instead of constantly attacking conservatives and Republicans, then there would be a change, I think. But there's not going to be a change. You all don't want to change down deep. Maybe you do, ma'am, but I dare say that the vast majority of your colleagues do not. They do not come from the conservative spectrum. They see this as just a Republican type.
This is just a way to hit Republicans. And I hope the Republican Party doesn't go, wow, we can't let any disaster go unexploited. We got to really milk this Charlie thing and win more elections. Okay. That's not, the tears are real, guys. These are real tears. And we really do have to fix politics to keep another Charlie Kirk from getting killed. It's not political for us. It is political for the Democrats. They're pragmatic.
Situation, and it is absolutely not. You're seeing as much or more on the left than you are from the right. And this is just down that same road once again. And it proves my point that this will never change.
Yeah, but making broad brush statements about any group of people or vast generalizations when you are not involved in any internal discussions within this network or any other network is also not moving the ball forward in a positive way. Congressman, thank you for your time. John.
Speaks volumes.
Speaks volumes. You greasy slime ball. Speaks volumes. You are the problem. You guys suck so bad. CNN sucks so bad. How bad do they suck? Here's Molly Hemingway on what CNN has been posting since the shooting. These are real CNN headlines that show they're not worthy of even, I wouldn't even let my dog crap on this paper. Look at this. These are the headlines after the shooting. From CNN, remember, they got together in a boardroom and they were trying to be sensitive. People are getting fired for allegedly celebrating Kirk's murder. Not allegedly, they did. They celebrated his murder. It looks like a coordinated effort. It's a conspiracy to get them fired now. That's their headline. Key questions remain about Kirk's assassination. Here's what we know. Concerns grow over Kash Patel's leadership of the FBI. They're trying to get Kash Patel fired. CNN are scum. Wait, but there's good news, guys. NBC is reporting that numerous employees have been fired or placed on leave over comments related to Charlie Kirk. I don't want to hear about the ones placed on leave because you're going to just unleave them as soon as we turn our head. You're going to give them their job back. I do want to see a list of names that are fired. The move has sparked growing concerns about freedom of speech. Do you have and that's what the theme of this show. Welcome. That was just the introduction, guys. We're 13 minutes in. It's about freedom of speech. The concerns about freedom of speech. No, you don't have the freedom of speech to celebrate a Christian's murder that we all saw on TV. In the workplace, freedom of speech in the workplace. Oh, is that the concern? Do you know how much freedom of speech I had in the workspace? If I walked into Nickelodeon and said a man and a man should not get married, they would walk me out the door like that. They'd practically walk me out if I said recycling won't help anything to change the Earth's temperature. And if I said an unborn baby should have constitutional rights of protection because life starts at conception, I'd be walked out. That's what freedom of speech in the workplace looks like to these Democrats for 25 years. They never believed in freedom of speech at the workplace. But now, when they're nurses, police, Pentagon workers, public school teachers, when one of us is shot and they celebrate it and say, yay, I'm so glad that his wife is alone, that his kids don't have a dad, they're saying, now we have concerns about if there's free speech in the workplace. You know what, you guys? Eat a bag of hot dogs. I have zero patience and zero sympathy. All I can do is laugh at the absurdity of this. With critics warning that disciplinary actions are creating a chilling effect on open expression. No, a chilling effect on celebrating the murder of an innocent civilian. These people are nuts. Do you know what really bugged them the most? Charlie Kirk here on Pastor Doug Wilson, I consider him a very good friend, on his show. By the way, I sat in this seat on this same stage with Doug Wilson on this show called Man Rappin'. I sat in that chair that Charlie sat on. Am I next?
Is abortion the most volatile topic?
Abortion is probably the most frequent topic I get, but the one where there's like a pathological, like they get very upset is transgenderism. And that's, I'm deeply uncompromising on that one as well, where I believe God created man and God created women, and period, that's it. And the story that if you have gender dysphoria, it's a brain problem, not a body problem. We should not have these treatments for anybody, period, especially not minors. And I think personally, the medical establishment has not earned our trust to have any treatment for anybody of any age for this, period, whether you're 25 or whether you're 30. I think there should be a full suspension of quote unquote gender affirming care for people in this country.
And now I have played the most radical thing according to Charlie Kirk that you can say. If anyone disagrees with what he says, you're probably so offended right now. I can't believe you have subscribed. To the rest of you, subscribe. Come on, get to 600,000 people. This is a New Jersey doctor on Kilmeade, a New Jersey nurse who turned in her doctor who cheered Charlie Kirk's death. And the nurse got suspended and remained suspended by the hospital. This is the New Jersey Medical Association participating in an evil.
Are you fired?
No, I'm not fired as of right now. Right now, I am suspended, indefinitely unpaid.
Why?
So I walked into the nurse's station and I just had learned about Charlie Kirk. I saw this guy. I didn't know who he was at the time. And he was standing there celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk, saying how he deserved it. He hated Charlie Kirk and he had it coming to him. And
so you love Charlie Kirk. You didn't just want to wear of him.
I loved, yeah, I'm a big fan of Charlie Kirk. My first retweet in 2018 it was like my first blue checkmark retweet was Charlie Kirk. I was a couple years out of college and loved him ever since.
You're aghast at this. And what'd you say?
So I looked down at his badge because I didn't know, what job, if he was a doctor, a nurse, a
never
tech, never saw him before. I looked down, I see his badge and it says doctor. And I said, "You're a doctor?" I said, how are you saying this as a doctor that someone deserved to die? I mean, to me, I was just mind blown.
And they both take the Hippocratic oath to do no harm, to preserve life. The problem is she worked for a feminist. Feminists, what do you have to say about strong, independent-minded women? Oh, you get suspended, no pay, you're on leave. You don't get to work. That's what, just for the women. Remember, the Democrat Party and the left, we like strong, independent-minded women and she went against a male doctor, a power figure. She's a whistleblower. And they attack the victim every time. They hate women. They don't believe in strong women. This is a strong woman. They don't want strong women. Democrat Party is done. Here's a Democrat who's done.
I registered to vote when I was 18 years old. I registered as a Democrat. I've been voting Democrat for 31 years. I am now 49. I have been voting Democrat for as long as Charlie Kirk was alive. Now, first and foremost, I want to say to Mr. Kirk's family and to his children, I am so, so sorry. And I got to say personally, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. I'm out. I'm done.
Not a Democrat anymore. Democrats, what exactly is your brand? This is a Democrat. This is a Democrat. This isn't coming from a Republican. This isn't coming from a conservative like me. This is coming from a Democrat saying, I see what our party's brand is. It is celebrating an innocent person's murder. And she goes, I'm out. Now, the Democrat, is this on her? Was she deceived to the left and to the Democrats? Is she just dumb? You're going to attack this woman now, right? You're going to go, well, she was not a good woman anyway. She's joining the anti-woman party, right? I think I can go down like 20 of your lines that you're about to say. 20 of your lines you're about to say. I know your arguments so well because I've studied them for 30 years. You lost her. What is the Democrat brand? Murder. Your Democrats can't even stand sitting at a table with Democrats. Look, here's a guy. He's challenging me. Doug, didn't you get canceled? Why promote the same behavior of canceling the left at their jobs? I asked this as a fan, not as an attack. It's passive aggressive. It's an attack. I said, fair question. The behavior I oppose was not against being canceled, just so you know. It was against being canceled for being normal. I'm not against canceling lunatics and pro-murder people and people that say the N-word and shout it in public on the job. Yeah, you should be fired. Cancel that person hard. Cancel all these people hard. You thought I was against canceling lunatics. No, I was against being canceled for being normal, for believing what your parents believe, for believing what 99% of humanity has believed for the last 100 years, that you do not kill innocent human life in the womb, that a man marrying a man is not interchangeable with a man marrying a woman. I got fired for being normal. Big difference. I'm not against firing people for being a lunatic. These lunatics were canceled for celebrating a murder of a Christian family man. A company has no obligation to cancel such a person. They don't have to. It's just bad branding, bad for your brand, your pro-murder brand, whatever company. It reveals the values of a company that most normals would not want to buy from. This blog is too long. I can't even read it. It's so long. I'm not talking about the people who are online. I mean regular everyday Americans, normies, people who scroll through Facebook posts and Instagram reels from the Dutch Brothers drive-through line. Political moderates who have water cooler chats about Mahomes, quarterback from the Chiefs, touchdowns, and Bon Jovi concerts, not Twitter thread or Rachel Maddow monologues. Millions of them, tens of millions, they're logging on, they're engaging, and they're furious. And I'll be candid, they blame you guys, they blame the left. The left thinks they're hypnotizing everyone right now and getting away with this, going, we are going to rebrand this Charlie Kirk thing, that we're innocent. We didn't do anything. No, the average normal person is blaming you. Now, this person is trying to get the Democrat Party to correct. If they actually corrected and lied and said that they cared about Charlie Kirk, their political party might come back. And I don't want that. I don't want the Democrat Party to come back. I want them gone, forever, laughed out of existence because they're evil. Thankfully that they're so evil, they can't keep their mouth shut and tell people what they actually believe, because they had such a murder turn on when Charlie Kirk was shot and murdered. They flipped out and they couldn't help but scream for joy. They exposed themselves. It was a death that flushed them out and exposed them. Here's Elon Musk.
What we've seen in the media is a defining things that used to be centrist to center left, such as a sensible immigration policy, as somehow far right, which is absurd and false, because really far right should refer to extremely fascist situations. Like far right should refer to electing regimes that want to launch wars or genocides or something like that.
Or shooting your opponent for their free speech is what totalitarian, that's what extremists and far crazy Pol Pot Castro extremists do. That's what Kim Jong-il and Kim Jong-un do. When someone talks, they shoot them. That's what the Democrat Party is covering up.
What that far right is supposed to mean. Far right is not supposed to mean a sensible immigration policy. That literally, if you took speeches from politicians that were center left and just go take their speeches from 10, 15 years ago, they were literally saying the same thing. So what we've seen is really a drift left to hesitate to use the same modifier, but where a lot of governments actually are far left, but think they are centrist, or think they are merely left or centrist, but they're actually far left compared to what the left.
Remember, the far left thinks they're the center. They're defending that it's normal to celebrate for a doctor to celebrate and cheer when a white Christian family man is shot for speaking like a gentleman. That's what the left thinks is center. Wait, there's more. One of my favorite, she's growing into one of my favorites. Batya Ungar-Sargon says you can ask people to choose turning down the temperature over revenge. That's what she's saying. They're lecturing our party. Hey, turn down the temperature. You cannot ask them to choose turning down the temperature over truth, but that's what the left is doing. They want the right, in its moment of grief, to assume equal responsibility for the violence coming from the left side via the absolute lie that both sides are equally violent. You cannot build unity on a lie because you cannot build anything on a lie. So no, I'm not going to come over and hug you guys and say, hey, it's cool, bro. You get another chance. No, not until you repent.
Which is people who have posted about Charlie Kirk have jobs and are being fired because what they've posted online has been viewed by their personnel directors or leaders as inappropriate. At any governmental level or in the private sector, are you comfortable having someone fired for an utterance about Charlie Kirk's death?
Are you comfortable having someone fired if they shout all over social media the N-word? Do you? This is CBS. Who's the I? CBS. Do you? Or are we going to be absolute where you can literally do and say anything and keep your job? You know, the right has been tiptoeing around their job, being socially reprogrammed with sensitivity training, anti-hate speech training for 25 years. If you looked at a woman wrong, you were leering at her and you could get fired. Are we going to protect me leering at a woman at work where if I compliment her dress, that's a pretty dress? Should I be fired? Because you guys on the left have been running the country like that for 25 years, and now you have the gall to say, we're really worried. You go to this politician, he's a rhino, and you're trying to get him to squirm?
Yeah, this is about protecting the individual businesses. And what people are seeing is this cancel culture that still persists, that if you voice something that becomes a big pushback from the community, the employer will step up and say, hey, you're about to kill our business based on what you're saying online. Everyone has to understand what they say privately online can get connected to their business. We have a veterinarian clinic in Oklahoma City right now that one of the veterinarians posted something just absolutely horrific about now we're culling out the sick ones right after Charlie Kirk was murdered, that now there's been big pushback through that veterinary clinic because people are saying, okay, this is the person, do I want to do business with that person if they have that belief? So this is part of the challenge that we have with social media and with employment. Employers are going to say, don't hurt our business based on the foolish things that you choose to say to be able to say online.
Shame them, fire them all. Fire every one of them. I say that as someone who has fired a lot for being normal. They're being abnormal. They should be fired also. Here's Megan Basham. It's absolutely mind-boggling to me that the same people who said pastors and churches must lament the death of George Floyd to show their willingness to weep with those who weep now say there's no reason to mention Charlie Kirk's assassination at church today. That was from yesterday. Apparently, some people's pain matters. That is, your culture demands that you mourn what they perceive as a race problem, which it wasn't in George Floyd's case. Here's Scott Adams. Wait until the haters of Charlie Kirk find out their anger is based entirely on quotes taken out of context and flat out lies about what he said. Yeah, the left. But some will experience, when they find out that they were lied to by their party and by culture, they will experience unbearable sadness and deep shame over their actions this week. And that is coming. Lord, please, let's hope. Wait, there's more. Here's Grums. He's a video game guy. The left just blew all our trust. And Grums is a moderate, okay? He's not some hard right guy. He's a moderate. So the left just blew all their trust. Normies see a nice guy doing simple debate, not a political speech, not leading a rally or a riot, getting gunned down in 4K video. Then they see a bunch of people, even their friends, cheer and clap and dance. And they ask why. And they say, well, you see, he was evil. They cry gleefully. The normie just stares at the screen. A clean-cut guy with a microphone is bleeding out horrifically. It reminds them of the sacred young blonde they saw bleeding out in the subway just a few days ago. A question forms. What did he do that made him evil? And the left says, he said things. They scream back, bit of spittle flying from their mouths. So you're happy they murdered him for talking? And the lefty says, yes, you get it now. Claps their kids, our children's teacher, the pilot of our planes, or their doctor. The normies horrified. Someone they trust their kids to, their health to, their safety is acting like a foaming, raging lunatic who wants people dead because they said something they didn't like. Do you realize how this comes across? I hope the Democrat Party never realizes it. I want them gone to save America and the rest of us. Here's Elon Musk. Clear incitement to murder is unacceptable, even as hyperbolic rhetoric. But this is not merely speech. They actually do want Matt Walsh to be murdered. Some would do it themselves if they had the chance. That's what we're up against, guys. Look, this episode's going so long, I can't even show you all the rest of the news. We'll get to the fourth one. Stick with me and subscribe. Shout out to the Quad Club. You guys make my heart huge watching all 4 videos every day. I'm Doug in Exile.